Welcome. Okay, so what we're doing here, we're doing something a little bit different today. Okay, we're doing something a little bit different. So, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. This is the Forgive for God show. Basically, what we're doing right now is we're going to go over my comment section. And so basically, all right. So where we left off before is Republican Jesus. And we're going to talk about this. It says Republican Jesus. Then Jesus said unto the sick, you better have insurance. And essentially what I was saying is this is basically like, this is like the equivalent to like graffiti. Like you're going to go onto somebody's post and you're just graffiti all over it. And it's such a crazy thing to say. And then it would take 10 hours for me to figure out what this all, like, you know what I mean? And so basically what I'm saying is, let me just I got to adjust a little bit of things. Okay. That's a little bit better. Okay. So it says, so basically let's get into it. It says, then Jesus said unto the sick, you better have insurance. It's like, so what first of all, God doesn't owe you anything. And we should be thankful and for what we're given. So there's one thing there. And so also you're putting the burden of me on me to, am I supposed to be healing the sick? Are you mad that I'm not healing the sick? Is that what the point is? Is that what your point is? And then it says, Jesus said to the stranger, are you here legally? Well, we're supposed to follow the law, right? I mean, what are we talking about here? So I don't understand this. Are we or are we not supposed to follow the law? And the Bible will say, yes, we're supposed to follow the law. So basically, we're supposed to be following the law out here. I wonder if can I put on any hashtags in my... I wonder if I can put any hashtags. In my Christian TikTok. Okay. Chris. Okay. So it says, are you here illegally? It's like, okay. Are we supposed to be breaking the laws out here? We're not allowed to just go around breaking the law. And it's just like such a bad argument that we're just supposed to just like, oh no, you're a stranger, so you get to have everything you want. Because Jesus said to the stranger, treat the strangers well. But like that's a bad argument, because we're supposed to be following the law. And so that's not how that works at all. Okay, then it says, Jesus said to the hungry, my taxes better not be paid for these loaves and fish. Well, we know that he did miracles with the loaves and fish, right? So like, and he did say, and he was careful to actually say, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, right? He was saying, go give it to Caesar. What, are we supposed to be paying our taxes? And yeah, we're supposed to be paying our taxes. Right? So it's just like, what a bad argument. Because like, that's what they really want, is you to be more of a humanist. And humanist people are like these supposedly really lovey-dovey, like supposedly, right? Supposedly lovey-dovey. Because it's like they say that they're humanist until you get to the communism part, till you get to the socialism part, and then somehow all of a sudden you have to take from somebody else and you have to give it to somebody else. What? You're being humanist to one person, and then the other person has to pay the bill. And it's just like, dude, I don't remember thinking that everybody should just come into my country and I have to pay the bill. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's like saying, and so basically he's saying like, my taxes better not be paying for these loaves and fishes. It's like, no, actually we do pay alms and tithe and stuff like that. That's what we do as Christians. We're trying to pay those into the church so that the most good can come from our money. And the most good you can do for somebody isn't just giving them something, it's to teach them something, right? Because he says it's better to teach you how to fish so you're a fisherman than it is to just give you fish. So God was not on board with this let's just give away food thing necessarily. He was doing a miracle, which also also has its own meanings and stuff like that. But it's like, does that make any sense? Like, we're not just going around going, oh, everyone owes me something, and God doesn't even owe you anything. It says, and then Jesus said to the poor, this is your own fault. Well, what is that implying? And Jesus said unto the poor, this is your own fault. So essentially, like, do you take responsibility at all for being poor? You know what I mean? And it's like, okay. And then also, is that implying that any blessing comes from the Lord? It's like it's so weird because like you're trying to use your logic and my logic against me. And whenever you use my logic and your logic, it seems like I win every time because now you have to use my logic, and my logic is the winning logic. Because it's like no, you can't use your argument with my logic without then taking all of my logic. You can't just pick and choose my logic. If that makes any sense. You're just taking some of my logic and then you're going to, you know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense. So it's like, Jesus said unto the poor, this is your own fault. Well, it's like, okay, if you're saying that Jesus owes you anything, okay, or you're using the logic that anything we get is from Jesus, I would agree with you. Any blessings that we get at all are from the Lord, then there you go. But I'm just saying, like, it's your own fault. It's like, okay, you're twisting something, like you're saying like, okay, here's the bad logic in this. It's in the perspective about work. It's like saying that we shouldn't have to work and you shouldn't have to do all this so that we can get blessings, right? Because it in itself, work in itself, according to apparently this person, is bad. And work is actually rewarding. You know, work isn't bad. And also it's a matter of perspective. If I have a bad perspective about work, all of a sudden, like, it's like everything I do about work is somehow bad. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're saying like, okay, what your argument is that Jesus said unto the poor, this is your own fault. So you're saying that if the poor is poor, it's their fault that they're poor. And that's what Republicans think. You're saying that Jesus thinks that. Okay. And it's like, so have I ever gone up to a poor person and said, you're poor because it's your fault? Well, there are things out of their control, but I guarantee you're going to have different results with a different perspective. This is what I mean by that. If you're going in and saying, okay, the fact that I have the opportunity to have a job, you see what I'm saying? We're changing our perspective here. Most of this is about perspective, right? And it's like you can use logic, but if you don't have no perspective, like perspective is the lens that we say is good or bad. It's like morality. It's like you going in and saying, oh, you know, we shouldn't even have to work because it's so stupid. All work is just dumb. It's like, okay, well, you've just taken a bad perspective about it. And now that dismisses anything about work that could be good. And the problem with perspective is you take perspective at the very beginning. It's like, anyone ever said you've got a bad attitude? You know, it's like, what does that mean? What does it mean to have a bad attitude? It's actually a bad perspective. And it's like, what does that mean? When you have a bad perspective about things, you're sitting there going, okay, things are, and like you're using logic, right? I'm using my logic to figure things out. But it's like, if I have logic, but I don't have morality, now everything it's like, okay, something's in front of me. Well, I don't want it to be in front of me. Okay, takes out a gun, bang. All right, now the thing is not in front of me. Okay, great. Now I can walk forward. Oh, wait, the thing in front of me was my child. Like, yes, logically speaking, like that would have worked, but it's like, morally speaking, that's bad. Morally speaking, we should be just plowing through whatever's in front of us because we got to, you know what I mean? Like, we have to use morality here. So perspective is in the same camp as morality, because if I am if I use bad perspective, then I can't be thankful about anything. And that means I can't be thankful for what I do have and the things I do have right now. If I am thankful for the things I have right this second, then I have peace. I have enough. That's perspective. If I can come into a place and go, oh, I have what I need right now, then I'm good. But it's like, if you don't have that perspective, next thing you know, what are you thinking? Everything's bad. You know? And things might be pretty sour at the moment, right? But it's like thinking that it's never going to change, everything's always going to be bad, no matter what, just Eeyore, oh well, I guess I'm a loser. You know what I mean? That's so bad. That's so bad for us because our soul hates it. Our soul even goes, ugh. Right? And so it's like, so much of this is about perspective instead of really even getting into, let's say, the nitty gritty of what this is. Okay, let's go to the next one. It says, and I got like 13 replies on that, so let's just go into it. It says, your version about Jesus sounds like some hippy dippy, no laws kind of Jesus. This is me saying this. Do you think we're really pulling out the Reddit right now? The Reddit vibes, the Reddit aura. So your version of Jesus really sounds like some hippy dippy, no laws kind of Jesus. Do you think boundaries in your own life are good? Do you want people to come to your house and rob you? Or do you want law to protect you? Laws are there to protect. Taxes are there to protect the government, which protects you. Very ignorant, but thanks for the comment. Pew. You know, it's like, oh my gosh. We got 12 replies back and forth on that, buddy. Okay. And then it says, I'm just going to bet that you and your staff are all white. Oh my gosh. I said, I don't have a staff, but I am white. All of a sudden it's racist, dude. What? Why? It says, I don't have a staff, but I'm white. Christians come in all colors. Just out of curiosity, was that a dig on white people because you're racist? Or does that imply that only white people are privileged enough to understand how the government and laws work in our favor? Maybe you didn't know that I don't know. Maybe you think that being protected by the law only applies to white people? Then how do you explain Mexicans being in a Mexican jail or Colombians being in a Colombian jail? Is that there is no white people putting them in jail? Again, what an ignorant argument and statement, but that's okay. I forgive you. Thanks for the comment. Isn't that the truth though? Isn't that the truth? Everyone always says, oh, these people are so racist and this and that. And it's like, then jails wouldn't exist in people's countries that are brown. Does that make any sense? It's like saying that white people are only putting brown people in jail. It's like this racism that white people are just, we just can't stand black people. We're going to put them all in jail. But then you have jails in those countries and they're full of what? Their own people. They're full of Chilean people and Colombian people. Colombian people are in their jails. That don't even make sense, my guy. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat a little bit today. All I have up right now is TikTok chat. I don't know how to get everybody else's chat up in here. By the way, don't know how to do it. Don't know how to add my chat. I'm so good at streaming, dude. Oh my gosh. I'm the best at it. Okay, so so it says, so is that not the truth? Is that not the truth? That why would they have all these jails in all these countries full of brown people if white people are the only ones that have this privilege of being such a, law-abiding citizens? It's like not true at all. So let's go to the next one. So it says, if the Bible says we should help the poor, welcome the foreigner, heal the sick, respect others, not lie or commit adultery, and not steal, then why do we support Donald Trump? Oh, Billy, we don't actually practice these things. We only preach them. Oh my gosh. So it's like, it's really easy to be self-righteous, right? Everybody's bad except for you. You're just the only one on earth just to grace us with your presence, and you just float above all of us, don't you? You're just floating up there going, oh, I'm so much better than everybody. And look how, and it's like, if you peered into the person's life that, let's just say anybody who promoted this, anybody who made this, it's like, give me a break. Give me a break. Of course, everybody would be, and like, that's the nature of human beings, is every single person has lied, committed adultery, stolen, blah, 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 blah. And the point is we're covered under the blood of the Lamb, and we have to be in a state of repentance and have a state of grace for ourselves and others, and to be in God's will, because we're trying to do that as much as we can. So we're not in this, kind of bad situation here. Okay. Let's see. Love your neighbor, feed the poor, heal the sick, welcome the stranger. Isn't this the same? Does the same guy put out all these memes? It's like one person does all these memes and they're bad. They're not even that good. And also, where does this come from? You know what I mean? There's nothing Republican Christians hate more than the teachings of Jesus. So it's like, what does welcome the stranger mean? Really? Does that mean it means people you don't know? You're supposed to give them the same grace as you would with somebody you do know. Heal the sick? Oh, I'm sorry. I would if I could. Good grief. Are you acting like we are out here like just not healing the sick because we just hate you so much? No. Most of the people out here are praying for you, trying to get you sick, people healed. Not the other way around. Give me a break. So weird. So weird. And then feed the poor. It's like they did a study to say like, more people, more Republicans actually, more conservatives actually give charity than Democrats. That was a thing. I didn't do the study. I don't know. Don't ask me. Okay. And then love your neighbor, of course. And it's like to imply that we don't love our neighbors as ourselves and we're not feeding the poor. It's like we're giving to the church. The church does a lot. Church does a ton. And then here's the thing. People have made all these rules so that it's harder for the church to do all those things. It's like the church was able to give away food and all this other stuff, but anytime you have any, like, it costs so much money to be like, you have to have a kitchen and it has to pass all the rules and regulations of a regular kitchen. You can't just give away anything. Everything has to be cooked in a certain way. And you have to, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, it's basically like you have to run a full blown restaurant essentially with the same, and essentially that in itself, it's like you have to run an entire restaurant and then it has to be free. Could you imagine that? You can imagine how much money that would cost? Goodness gracious. What a joke. These people act like, it's like, oh, you're just not doing it. It's like, bro, give me a break. We would if we could, right? Okay. It says, I said, okay, great questions. I'm going to summarize your question. Should we allow lawless behavior at the border of our country? Do you agree that people's boundaries should be crossed? We just treat our country the same way of our own house and our own bodies. So it's pretty obvious why we lock our doors and not let people assault our bodies. So that's a bad argument. I said, love is love argument. This is the love your neighbor as yourself, as giving grace to one another, as if to say, forgive and you will be forgiven, like my channel is about. This is not loving someone the worldly definition. The world says, if you love me, then you won't discipline. The world says, if you love me, then you won't discipline me. You will let me be lawless. You will not stop me from anything I want to do. This is not the same love definitionally. Another concept of love, that is the Bible, is the concept of loving someone by giving them laws to follow, and restrictions is what stops us from offending one another. Okay. As I stated in the first argument about national borders, national boundaries allows us to have sovereignty as a nation and for ourselves individually. All right. Okay. Okay. Oops. Okay. It says healing the sick. So I try and heal the sick with my videos. People get healed all the time from prayer and it works, but the world's perspective on this is a human right that everyone deserves free health care. See what I'm saying? Like, it's like you take the concept of getting healed differently than I do, and your definition is you want free health care. And it's like, goodness gracious. Honestly, that's a huge leap from praying for somebody to heal them to everyone from every country that can come into my country for free health care. I don't interpret this anywhere close to that conclusion. And it says, and then I say, welcome the stranger. Yes, anyone can be forgiven. I don't see the argument, so I'm moving on. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, and in reference to the don't lie and don't commit adultery, the argument seems to be, so if there's an adulterer and a liar, then he's not a Christian. If you've been a Christian for 5 minutes, you know that even when we try our best, we still let people down. That's why it's important to go and forgive your parents, by the way, because if you are a parent, you know that even as we try our hardest, we still screwed up to the best of our intentions. So I believe that it's better to not sin, obviously, But that's just not possible since we are all sinners and nobody is perfect. That is why we use forgiveness, by the way. This pertains to a governorship like the presidency. So gladly, I would be careful because I would rather have someone in charge who is open about being flawed than someone who is pious and self-righteous, who claims to never be wrong and never makes mistakes in governorship. Okay. And I said, but thanks for the comment. Oh, we got some more replies. You were an all-white organization. So since I am the only person in my organization, it's an all-white organization. Look at the perspective, the characterization here. There is the problem with bad characterization. The problem with this is it's not even allowed in criminal court. You know what I mean? Like, it's not allowed in court that you can characterize somebody that badly. And bad characterization actually is defamatory. And if you have bad characterization towards somebody in a public place, according to law, you can sue somebody if it causes them to lose business, basically, and if you can prove how much they've lost in court. So it's so funny that people use these characterization for others and something like that when they should really be careful, because what if I was just really I was lawyered up and I could prove that this guy is causing me some harm financially? It's dude, you are and it's so you're an all-white organization. Keep up the good work and spreading your doctrine, nation. It's so funny. You ask me if I'm a white guy, and then I say yes, and he says, "Oh, so you're an all-white organization?" What? Whatever, dude. Okay, so and then we got this. Oh, look at this meme. So the New Republic, American fascism, what it would look like, and it kind of looks like that H guy, and it kind of looks like Trump. It kind of looks like Trump with a little mustache. Yeah. So. I said racist, but thanks for the comment. Oh my gosh. People are so funny. Oops. Oh, sorry. I was just checking out somebody who's checking me out. Somebody joined my stream. Okay, so it says, okay, perhaps Wes Gardner says, perhaps one of these gods out of the thousands over the last several thousand years. Imagine being so indoctrinated, everything comes out of your mouth is so wild. But here we are. Could put out a video or maybe a piece of TikTok. After all, it is 2025. These deities. The reason why these people aren't putting out any TikToks is because all the people that said that they were gods are all dead. Jesus is the only one that came back. And Jesus is the only one everyone's really talking about. No one really is like, oh, I gave my life to Buddha. They might do Buddha stuff, that's for sure. So, I mean, do you want Jesus to put out a TikTok? Is that what you're saying? I'll believe if Jesus puts out a TikTok. Okie dokie, buddy. Okay, so it says, okay, this one says, you paid Facebook to shit on my timeline, so I'm returning the favor. Okay. So here's the thing. That's why I don't like paying for, I don't like paying for like the exposure for people to like find my channel. Like, I kind of think I should do it, but I kind of think I shouldn't. And the reason why is because, yeah, it just sent it to a bunch of people who hate Christianity. All it actually did was, and I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it's like, I spent the money to get my post pushed out there on Facebook, and then it literally like just sent it all to everybody who hates Christianity. And I feel like that's what's going on here. That's why I have 5,000 comments that we're going over. I mean, not 5,000, but that's why I have that many comments that are all negative, because it's like, I can only assume that when I spent the money to to promote my channel, it just sent it to everybody who doesn't want to see that content. And I'm sure Facebook knows that those are the people that didn't want to see that content. So I can only assume from that logic that you, Facebook, sent my channel to everybody who hates it on purpose. And then they're just gonna sit around and hate on my channel? Does that and I got like more engagement, but it's more negative engagement, not good engagement. I got bad. So it's like, oh, we'll get you some engagement. What did you want? It's like, obviously not that. You freaking kidding me? You know what I mean? It's like, obviously not that. Some Discord gaming thing. I don't know what that is. Okay. What was I talking about? Okay, sorry. You know how distracting it is to like deal with like the people part of this? Okay. Anyway, okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I paid money, and then that's what they did. They just like, and then this guy is actually right to give me this meme. I didn't want to be given to all these people who hate Christianity. Why would I want that? But at the same time, I guess it is doing the most good. So, I mean, okay, I'm not preaching to the choir, at least. You can argue that. I'm not preaching to the choir. At least I'm preaching to people who actually need it. And Facebook's like, these folks need it. They need it badly. Okay. What's next? Oh, I think I said, awesome. I hope you have time to watch my videos as well. Thanks for the comment. Okay, so there's so many of us who will never forget, and most definitely will never ever forgive every man and woman who voted for the Nazi regime, fuck you all. No forgiveness ever. Well, yeah, so basically, yeah, I mean, can't argue with that because, but that's the thing. If you, and I think that's what the problem is. I think the problem is this division that every time that we get divided as a country or any of these topics and stuff like that, it causes people to unforgive. And it's like, we're never coming together in any like good way. And we're always getting like divided. And it's like never like a really chill, like, oh, you know, we just disagree about that. You know, the dress is blue, the dress is gray, the you know, it's like, I will never forgive you. And it's like, nah, dude, that's especially why you can't be thinking that way, you know? Fuck you all. And that's so crazy. That's what he says. Fuck you all. No forgiveness ever. Okay, well, that's all right. Okay, here's the next meme here. It says Nazis deserve safe spaces too. And it's a shallow grave. It's not a, and then 2 shovels. So this is like, that's a shovel and that's a spade. Am I right? And I mean, that's good work. That's some pretty good stuff. I think that's pretty good. Good shoveling. Also, how did, like, the thing is, if anybody else ever shoveled anything ever before, you kind of need the flat one, right? You need the spade and you need what's the one with the square bottom part? You need that kind, right? That really, because then you start getting these little gouges. You want to get those straight lines, right? When you're doing digging, you want to get those straight lines, and like you can really scoop that straight across the bottom. Is that just me? But I feel like that's why they have the other kind of shovel. You don't want to just, anyway. But Nazis deserve safe spaces. Okay, I'll address this. All right. I want to talk about shovels. Because it's my channel. Start your own channel. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Okay. So Nazis deserve safe spaces too. People don't really think that they need a safe space, especially the people that you say are Nazis. And so it's inherently just illogical to say that Nazis need it. And but it's supposed to be funny. And it just pretty much goes to show you that most of these people on the left are pretty inhumane. Like, the joke is, I'm going to kill you. And is that a joke? Like, these people don't know how to meme. And that's the point. This is the point. They do not know how to meme. The joke isn't, haha, I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, you are just messed up if you think that is a joke. Ha ha, I'm going to kill you. Ha ha, you should deserve to die. And this, okay. So let's get into this. It says, maybe I could zoom in just a schmoojie woogies. Just because we're in this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Doing it. I did it. Oh. I didn't do it on the, yeah, Yeah, I'm just going to leave it on the TikTok one. I'm going to leave it on the TikTok one. They can read it. Okay. And then, so it says, you elected Musk. I mean, Trump. Is this not gold, dude? We're just waiting. We're just waiting in swamp water right now. We're just going like this. I think they call that a natural geyser. Like one of those those hot springs when you're like in one of those like little swampy things. Okay. Okay, it says you elected Musk. I mean Trump. Okay, here's the thing. This post had nothing to do with Trump. For one, it had nothing to do with Trump. Nothing. Imagine being so Trump deranged that now we're talking about Trump when it has nothing to do to do with Trump. But we're on the internet, so apparently that's what we're going to talk about. That's how deranged some of these people are. So it says, if it were clear skied and 100 degrees and you said it's clear and hot and I'd want to run home and get an umbrella. So essentially, like, they're just saying that anything that I say, no matter what I said, they're just gonna, like, you just proved how stupid you are. You just said, if it were clear skied and 100 degrees and you said it was clear and hot, I'd want to run home and get an umbrella. Folks. What? What? Okay. Do that then. But it's like, what you're saying is you're going to be so cognitively dissonant that you're going to literally go home and grab an umbrella when I'm telling you straight up facts, straight up logic. Oh my gosh. Okay. I just have too much fun with this. Okay, and then I am a follower of the way of Jesus of Nazareth. I think that's kind of what the problem is. The way of Jesus of Nazareth. Isn't that Mormons? Are these Mormons? The way of Jesus of Nazareth? That's a Mormon. For decades. Mormons are not Christians, guys. Guys, they're not. Okay. When I read his teachings, I hear him rebuke you clearly. And it's like, now, I mean, I've had my suspicions in the past that they're not. I've met a lot of people who are Mormons, are really nice people. But here's the thing. I've had my suspicions. And doesn't this kind of prove a little bit? Doesn't this prove a little bit to my point? So, just saying. Okay. For decades, when I read his teachings, I hear him rebuke you clearly. So, okay. It's too bad I can't have a conversation with this person, because even if I did, they would just not even address the point. They would start talking about Trump or something. But it's like, I hear him rebuke you clearly. It's like, dude, I'm talking about exactly what Jesus talks about. I'm not mincing this at all. I'm coming right out of, this is right out of Jesus. This is my personal testimony. Yeah. See, never the groups of people you want to teach me. When I read the teaching, you hear you rebuke it clearly, but never the groups of people you want to teach me to hate. I never said to hate anybody. Bro, I never said to hate nobody. I never said to do that. Hello. I never said to do that. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm going to turn some of these lights on. All right. I don't want that in my eyeballs. Okay. So. Is that even on? Okay. Ready. Where was I? Okay. But never the group of people that you want to teach me to hate. You love Jesus of Nazareth. I love his way. And because of that, I reject the church. I blame you. Folks, you can't even write this stuff. This is so demonic, dude. I laugh, but this is so demonic. Okay. And then people go, oh, the demons don't exist. You haven't been in my comment section yet, then. And because of that, I reject the church. I blame you for the current state of hate for Gaza. Okay. I don't think people in Gaza should die. Are you out of your mind? Okay, for children starving and direct result of President Musk's budget cuts. Okay, now we're finding out that all those budget cuts that he proposed because they weren't actually implemented, Musk didn't get what he wanted. He did the Doge audit and we found a bunch of stuff, but nobody was able to stop that money from going to where they were. So for children starving as a direct result of the President Musk's budget cuts, I think that they did stop some things. And what happened was those things, I mean, also, I think that what children starving, there's always a group of children starving out there. No matter what happens, there's always some freaking group of kids. Where are they? And it's like, okay, in Gaza, and also, good grief, is Gaza not the exception though? Because they're trying to give them aid. Aren't we trying to give them aid? And don't they say that these people are trying to take the money and these people are trying to stop them? And it's a war zone. It's like things are not the way they should be there. So find some other place, because that's an exception. Because this place is like a war-torn place of the world. That's a like everything's wrong with that situation. Okay, so nobody can use Gaza. It's off the table. And of course, that anybody bombing the crap out of Gaza and all that stuff. Good grief, dude. I think that everybody should have sovereignty, and I don't think that you should be bombing the crap out of a bunch of civilians. If a bunch of civilians are mobilized and trying to kill you, then they ain't civilians no more. Okay. And yeah, so children starving is a direct result of budget cuts for violence committed against Asian Americans. I don't know. What are you talking about? Prove it, bro. For violence committed against LGBT citizens. What violence? They think that you sneeze in their direction, they say that's violent. I blame you. Blame me. Okay, but also, that's not what my video was about at all. No one watched my video. Nobody. Okay, and then, but here we are. And that's why we're doing this. And that's why I'm making this abundantly clear to everybody that you can watch, that you can make content. People will go on 7,000 rabbit trails and have nothing to do with what you're talking about. And you'll never be able to even get across the message that you're trying to talk about because everyone wants to talk about Gaza. Oh, the Gaza. Oh, what about the Gaza? Who cares about the Gaza right now? They should, I think that people tried to help the Gaza situation for a long time. Okay. And then honestly, it's like, good grief. Of course that's bad. Of course it's bad, dude. And okay, if it were clear and skied in 100 degrees and you said it's clear and sky hot, I would want to run home and get an umbrella. Again, you already said that. These people are so funny. And I'm a follower of the way of Jesus Christ and navigate for decades. Okay, so do you see how that is a bot? This is a bot. America, look, America, look. I'm trying to get your attention. America, look at me. America, look at me. This is what a bot looks like. Okay? Look at me, America. Look at this. Look at it. Come here. Look. This is what a bot looks like. It says the same 10 things in a row and it goes on a repeat. The only problem is this bot is stupid and doesn't know that it started repeating the line again. It's like trying to repeat the sense of like a code, a thread, and post it, but it failed. So what is this? It's like, who's behind this? So for me to think that this is even an authentic post, it's not. It's rage bait. It's clickbait. So anyways, that was that. That was fake news. Okay, we're going to move on. Okay. Open live studio because everyone's happy. Okay, good for you. Everyone's happy in the chat. Go chat. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this thing. It says, "Sorry, kid. Elon said it's fraud and waste." Goodness gracious. That kid is not. First of all, that kid's not in Gaza. That's not no Gaza, baby. And nope. That ain't no Gaza, baby. Sorry about that. Fake news. Okay. So here we go. "You paid Facebook to shit on my timeline. Allow me to return the favor." We already saw one of these. Okay, I replied. Awesome. Thanks for the comment. "Use logic and reason to stop the spread of these primitive superstitions called religions and ignorance that they promote." Okay, well, it says, actually, most people use logic incorrectly. Logic should be used to justify means to a positive end. But most people think if you can rationalize it, then you used logic. But that's not the purpose of logic. Logic is just a tool, and a tool used in the wrong hands can change the outcome. So therefore, I would inject that logic must be used with a perspective, and that must be a positive. Must be positive, or you can just justify a Holocaust again. Ooh, this is extremely important in a Christian's life as well, because Christianity teaches that the devil is a liar and manipulator, correct? Then how then can he lie without using logic? So really it's a perspective issue. You see a busted down car and I see a way to get to work. The facts remain, but you see the logic changes. Thanks for the comment. What do you guys think of that? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's all your boy. That's your boy right there. That's a boy. And let's see the reply. Attempting to change the subject is a failed argument. The only way to disprove the facts stated is to present sufficient facts and evidence to refute them. If you have such evidence, please present it. Okay. So he's the question was, use logic and reason to stop the spread of these primitive superstitions called religions and the ignorance that they promote. Okay, so I can't prove a negative. So that's what that is. I can't prove a negative. But because since you can't prove a negative because it's bad characterization, I can't do that. So you're using a bad argument. I can't. You see what I mean? So I mean, okay. So to try to better explain what he to argue what he said. Okay, maybe a little bit better. Okay. He says use logic and reason to stop the spread of these primitive superstitions called religion and ignorance that they promote. Okay. He says he's asking me to use logic and reason to stop the spread of this primitive superstition called religions. Okay. He's trying to get me to stop religions using logic and reason. Okay. But I would argue that atheism is a religion. It is a set of beliefs. So you can't stop believing. Don't stop believing. You can't freaking stop believing whatever you believe. That's called a religion. Whatever you believe in is called your religion. Hello? 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 Is that the truth or what? Is that the truth? Whatever you believe in is now your religion. Oh boy. So, using logic and reason to say that religion can't... Essentially what I'm saying is religion can't not exist. It has to always exist. Because it just means that you're believing something in a set of beliefs. So, that's not how this works. Okay. So he's saying attempting to change the subject is blah, 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 blah. So I'm trying to tell him about how logic works, and he's not trying to listen to that. He's trying to get his gotcha. And, I just, you can't prove a negative. So I guess to him, he won. Good job. When you follow Jesus to the letter, he gives you the gift of instant forgiveness, instant healing. Oh, it's priceless. Here we have Dory back in the chat. Dory's back to the rescue. And now we got 22 replies. Okay. That is true. Thanks for the comment. Cool. Go handle some snakes then. Yet you aren't handling them. By dragon, you mean H? This is a snake pit, if you ask me. Thanks for the comment. The whole earth and I can't disagree. My money turned it into greed when it turned into worthless fighting for nothing. Greed is a deadly sin, and the reason why it's important to point out a deadly sin because this is what the video was about. Come to a curse and spiritual contract that needs to be broken. That's why I make the clear distinction. Deadly sins need deliverance, and other offenses may lead to bigger ones. I would concede, but the point remains: the deadly sins will hold us back from the kingdom, and that's how they are addressed. So if you say they don't forgive, you are considered a murderer, which is a deadly sin, and thus you are under a curse if you don't forgive. That's what happened to me, and I got deliverance from that after I was already a believer, and then I was able to live in the blessing. I just bring awareness to it because like I said, as a Christian, I would have liked to hear that message, but somehow it never got brought up in seriousness. Thanks again for the support in your comment. Yeah, see? Yeah, see? Real men don't believe in that nonsense. Men don't believe that the deadly sins are deadly. Oh my gosh. Religion is an embarrassing human practice of convincing the mind to ignore common sense, logic, reason, and evidence while blindly believing in ancient fairy tales. It encourages its followers to value faith over facts and reality. It makes its followers proud instead of being ashamed of their ignorance. Oh, really? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Religion is an embarrassing human practice of convincing the mind to ignore common sense. So, is it though? I mean, we just talked about that because ignorance of common sense, logic, and reason and evidence while blindly believing in ancient fairy tales. So it's like religion is just believing in having a set of beliefs. And so you can't just say that it's always about. You can't even just say that religion is about. It's an embarrassing human practice. You're already believing something, brother. You're already believing something. You're already believing that religion doesn't exist. So therefore, your religion doesn't exist. But people who think that that's not real, they can't stand that kind of logic. They can't stand that because it goes against them going, I'm better than you because you are religious. They think they're so much better and they think they're so much smarter by saying that they're not religious. But it's like, no, idiot. Right, okay. Pure fairy tales. All right, let's go into this. It says, actually, most people use logic incorrectly. I'm trying to explain. Logic should be used to justify means to a positive end, but most people think if you can rationalize it, then they use logic. But that's not the purpose of logic. Logic is a tool. I think we already said about that. Okay, we already did that one. And he says that was an extreme amount of hyperbole and bullshit to say nothing. Read your Bible some, and it is the same BS and hyperbole. Honestly, I'm kind of an idiot, and I don't even know what hyperbole means. So I'm just gonna look it up. I hate when people use these big words. Exaggerated. What is that? Exaggerated statements or claims not meant to be taken literally. I'm sorry. I was trying to be literal. That's not fair. I was definitely being literal. Okay, so here we go. What's this next meme? Are we having fun yet? It says, prayer helmet. It enhances your prayers so God can hear them clearly. God also thinks you really mean it this time. Only $249.95. I'm not going to hell option, $49.95, Mega Church Inc. It's got some funnies on there, right? So prayer helmet. It enhances your prayers so God can hear them clearly. So God also thinks you really mean it this time. I don't know, dude. Like, Christians have been saying some crazy stuff, and he's probably right. He's probably right. Some of these weird things that Christians talk about, he's probably right, dude. Like, oh, I mean, here's the thing. Some of these pastors out here are like just good at public speaking, and they don't have an anointing. They shouldn't be at the pulpit. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. And they out there saying things that don't make sense, and things that they never went through. And so they're teaching people things that they don't know nothing about. And they're nowhere near teaching it. Shouldn't be nowhere around teaching it. And the reason why I can get into a lot of this stuff is because I have had a lot of this, like, the reason why I can dispute all this stuff fairly easy, I'm just going through all of it because it's like, there's only a finite amount of things that people get wrong about all this stuff. And that way I can just dispute all of it. It's not even that hard. It's not even tough. A lot of it isn't that tough. If you can understand a few of the concepts that I'm talking about, then you can just go, oh, wow. Like, all this stuff is just, this kind of logic does not make sense. This perspective, it's about perspective and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. And then, the word Trinity is not found in the Bible. Here we go with the stumpers. Okay. So we're going to talk about the things that are like okay, wait. I almost missed one. We had 12 replies on that. Real men don't believe in fairy tales. I said, nice profile picture. Ultraviolence is the most opposite of forgiveness, but thanks for the comment. Yeah, this guy he had an ultraviolet, violent, picture. I think, okay, wait. America, come here. I think this is a bot because now this is a different profile picture. What? Yeah, this is a bot, dude. These are all bots. These are all bots, bro. This is a bot. This person had a totally different profile and everything. And it's all about the newest thing. Wow. I don't know. I hope I can go back to that thing. Maybe not. Hold on a second. I gotta go find where the heck we were. We're like in the trenches over here. I'm getting there. Sorry about that. Okay. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, let's see here. Trying to find the content. Okay. It's gotta be after that. Can't believe I lost it. Wow. I actually posted so much. My goodness. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, keep going. Okay. All right. Yeah, so here we're back. And I'm back. So the point is these people are bots, because I was having all these conversations with people, and I remember what their goodness. I remember what their so sad. I remember what their profile picture looked like. It was just like, doesn't look like that at all. And then I go to their profile, because it's like I mentioned something about their profile. That's what I'm saying. Like I mentioned something what their profile looked like, and then now I go back into their profile and it's not the same at all. It was like something totally different. So it's like, what the heck? And it just goes to show you that these are bots. These are not real. This is the second bot so far. This is the second one. I'm sure you could change your profile picture, but you changed it from a dude to a chick. You're a girl now. And I remember this person in my head because it was like the comments that I was getting from this person and the picture that I had on it was so disturbing. And then this person says, there is no such thing as sin. Yeah, guys, we can all go home now. And I said, since you didn't watch the video, explain that the deadly sins are so deadly because it makes it very difficult, not impossible, but hard to forgive others. That's why we should avoid it. There, I saved you some time. Do you believe what I say to be true now? There's no such thing as sin. Okay, we'll just go home then. Okay, thanks, Bubba. See you tomorrow. And it said, so I said to him, sin is another word for offense, meaning if I offend somebody, the Bible uses the word sin. We all use the word offense now, but it carries the same meaning. When we sin towards God or others, we are offending them, their sovereignty in some way. Like for a person, person, it's an assault on their character or body. We call those offenses for God. Any sin we do someone, it's like we do it to him. So we're to cause people not to be harmed. It's the golden rule. Thanks for the comment. Come on, man. According to the Bible, wearing mixed fabrics is a sin. The Bible is only good for one thing: toilet paper. Is God wrong to make rules to separate his people based on traditions? I'm not sure how that's a gotcha, because if they wore the clothes of the Gentiles, then they would not look like the Israelites. He has a purpose what he chose to make offensive to him or not. Do you choose what your children wear? Not a very good gotcha, but thanks for the comment. So thanks for the comment. Religion is an embarrassing human practice. We did that one. There's a hyperbole one. Pure fairy tales. And I said, actually, forgiveness is super practical. You should try forgiving Christians who just want people to be more kind to each other. Thanks for the comment. Real men don't believe in fairy tales. Nice profile picture. Ultraviolence is the most opposite of forgiveness, but thanks for the comment. And then we'll read those. Violence. Who killed more children, God or Satan? I said, you might not like the answer to your gotcha question, but it's a bad premise, because God doesn't owe you what you think your life should be. He doesn't owe you a long, prosperous life, even if you obey him. Second bad premise is that God would want to kill children outside of his plan for their life, and that would be from outside influences such as people out of the will of God. So people acting outside of God's will are people who are aborting babies, killing Christians, drinking or abusing substances until death, self-inflicted harm out of disregard of one's own life, such as preventable things such as accidents that could have been avoided, and things like that. So maybe this is irrelevant to you, but God considers all of us his children, and according to 2 Peter 3:9, does not want us to perish. But here's the third wrong premise. You assume that a child dies when they are not in a better place. I believe this is a mercy of God to live in heaven. Also, in a way, I think the silver lining of abortion is that who would want to be a parent who would want a parent who would want to kill them? How evil. So also is this natural death, or is it spiritual death? Because Satan brings spiritual death. So I can't say to exact numbers, and I would argue neither, but can you? But neither can you. But thanks, I appreciate the comment. It says, how many children drown in continents far away from Bible stories? Evil, gotcha. Okay. And then there's like and then I said, I went to read the article, and then the graph had the data was missing. I went to wired.com. So at least what I can say about that was that the claim that the difference in the attitude, well, I gotta zoom in because I'm far away from the screen. I don't know about you guys, but this is like a little easier if I can zoom all the way in. Because like, come on. Okay. So at least what I can say about what I read was that there is a claim that there was a difference in the attitude from the Old Testament to the New Testament God. And the claim was, what's the deal with God of the Old Testament being a God of war, and now the New Testament, he's the God of peace? Actually, Jesus said, I do not come to bring peace but a sword. I'll tag you in the verse below. So what I noticed from your argument specifically, it seems to be in the line with the theme that a God shouldn't exist if he doesn't stop all senseless evil in the world, which simultaneously exerting that a just God, is wrong to punish people who are evil. Think of this world as a testing facility to prepare you for the spirit realm. The spirit realm is where justice is truly just. If God ends a life short here, wouldn't you expect the ultimate judge to render a just verdict based on that? So those who have more time, he is patient, so that even those who are stubborn may still be able to find him. But it cannot be clearer about this point. God doesn't owe anyone anything. He doesn't owe anyone a long life or your limbs, and we are to be thankful for every blessing he gives us. So then I tagged him in this. It said Matthew 10:34. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to this earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set man against his father, and daughter against her mother, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be in their own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And question mark. This person is a professional internet Redditor. Look at that. And question mark. Ooh, look at that sweet burn right there. And is that God, the loving creator of the universe, earth, Satan, hell, sin, owes nothing to his creations. Irresponsible. That's what he says. I said, hard to make out what your statement means, but all I have done is clarify your argument and shown its circular reasoning. Sorry if you think that's not fair, but grace is giving to someone who doesn't deserve it. He has gone further than we deserve. I hope that you can see that. Thanks for the comment. His creations deserve nothing. Imagine a parent telling a child that. Well, good to hear you're one of his children now. Thanks for the comment. Oh, man. Hey, thanks everybody for joining in. What we're doing right now is I'm going over all the comments that people leave me in my Christian YouTube and my Christian Facebook page. It's all just a bunch of toxic stuff. So since I'm not being toxic, I get to read all the other people that are toxic, and it's still really entertaining because what do people love more than anything is toxicity. So it's not like I'm not around it 24/7. So join in, like, share, subscribe. Bouge. Okay. I'm just going to jump this thing over here. I'm going to check out the live thingy, my bobber. I'm not trying to post anything. What? Post? Okay, let's check some things out. Just checking out the algorithm. Pretty quiet out there. Pretty quiet. Pretty much nobody's seeing this. Let's just say that. This is the worst. This is the worst live I've ever done. This is the worst one. I don't think I'm even getting...
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
I mean, I'm just checking this stuff out. It's not like anybody's watching this thing anyway. Trying to look at the algorithm here. Anyway. All right, yep. Don't matter, who cares? Still doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay. All right, so it says the word Trinity is not found in the Bible. Here we go. It's a fairy tale made up of Council of Nicaea in 350 AD, long after the Bible was already completed. Moses wrote the book of Genesis thousands of years before the Trinity was even invented, so to try to apply the Trinity to the book of Genesis or any book of the Bible is pure ridiculousness. I just want to say that I never talk about the Trinity. I don't try to. I've got a whole video saying, let me talk about the Trinity. And then I say, who cares? Because it's always this gotcha, dude. It's always these gotcha. It's always this gotcha. Who cares, dude? Okay. So, yeah. 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 So, what's that? It's tricky rock the mac the rock the make the rock on time. That's tricky. Tricky. Bear. Baby, I love you. Down, 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 bow, bow, bow. Do 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 beep beep beep. Ba na 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 down bow. Baby, I love you. Ba na 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 na. Ba na 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 na. Baby, I love you. Bow, 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 bow. Okay, well. Okay, let's read this. Ba-da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ba-da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-down. Okay, so, all right, sorry, I was just taking a little break. Take a little break. Oh. Ticket. All right, so I guess we did that. So I guess we'll end this stream, and maybe we'll come back on and play some video games. Does that sound fun? I don't want to talk about the Lord no more. All right, so yeah, buddy, rolling like a big snot, Chevy tuned up like a mouse card, big block. Okay. All right. Okay, so thanks again for watching the show. I'm gonna get off and jump back on. We're gonna get on a game. So maybe I'll just keep it going. No, I'm gonna get off actually. Also, maybe I'll ask a question. What do you guys want me to play? Well, it's too bad. I'm going to play a weird game that I just got. So, cool. Okay, I'm going to get that started. I'm going to come back on here in a little bit.